there, it's Sarah Jane from Cards and a Cuppa, and I'm here with this week's 12 Weeks of Christmas video, and today I'm going to share with you how to make this cute pine cone using your rolled flower Stampin' Up die. It's something I thought about quite a few weeks ago, and I've just been waiting to catch up with this series to do it, but I think it's lovely and it's a great way to reuse a die that you've already got probably in your stash for Christmas. So yeah, it can be used for quite a few different things. Here I've popped it on top of a tiny treat box that I've just decorated with stamped images and popped the pine cone on top. Here I've used it on a card. Obviously, because of the weight of the pine branch and the cone, you're going to have to put a double layer of card on the inside, and that way the weight won't tip the card over. It's not too heavy, but you do need to compensate a little bit, otherwise it will just flop forward. But with the double layer inside, it's fine. And here, if you made several of them, you could stick them all in a mini bottle or a vase, or maybe in next week's tutorial I'm doing some table centerpieces, so there's a little sneak of next week's tutorial, and these would go really well in next week's video, so don't forget to come back and see that. So let me share with you how to make these pine cones. Okay, you're going to need your rolled flower die and your big shot. Now you'll see on my die I've written on here 9.5 by 10.5 centimeters, which means if you cut your card, your A4 card down the center at 10.5 centimeters, you can get 3 from each side of the, so you can get 6 from a sheet of card, really. If you just cut it in half and then roll it through on a strip without cutting it into 9.5 centimeter pieces, you're only going to get 2, so it works out a lot better and more economical to do that. So I can put a couple of layers on this because it's a big die. So I've got 2 sheets of early espresso card. And there's my rolled flowers. Now I did 3 at a time yesterday of these, and that was fine too. And I also did this cutting in layers of 3 as well. So to make these flowers into pine cones, you need to stack up your die cuts so they're perfectly on top of each other. And then all I did was cut half of one of the scallops away, all the way around.
Don't you tell a single soul what I'm going to say. Christmas Eve is coming soon. Now are you, dear old man? Whisper what you...
As you get round to the much larger scallops here, then all you're trying to do really is straighten that edge. You don't want to cut away too much of the card. So and then these last 2 I cut a pointy top for each of them. Okay, so that gives you the points on the pine cone. So you're going to need your bone folder, just the same as when you're making a rolled flower. So what you're doing is breaking down the fibres of both of these.
Tell me if you can when the clock is striking 12.
You'll notice my bone folder is quite mucky looking. That's where I press down the ink on my ink pads. There is a little video on that if you want to have a quick look on my YouTube channel. So if you're having trouble with your Stampin' Up foam ink pads, take a look at that. So you're going to just start rolling now, just the same as you do for the roll flower, from the small end down. Now don't worry too much about what it looks like. What you're trying to do is just curve your card at this point. Now get in the centre there and pull out your pine cone so that it's elongated, and then you're just going to fiddle with it really to make it the shape you want it. I'm aiming for long and thin for one of them at least. Now pop a bit of Tombow in the top of that cone, and you're going to have to hold it just for a moment whilst the Tombow dries a little bit. And then I just went in, and where there's a reasonable size overlap, I just pop a tiny little dab, if you can see that, of Tombow in there, and just secure the cone so it doesn't pop back in or come out too far. You want to do that in a couple of places on your pine cone.
When I'm fast asleep down the chimney, broad and black, with your pack, your cream.
And there's your first pine cone. So repeat that with the second.
All the stockings you will find hanging in a row. Mine will be the shortest one. You'll be sure to know.
So there you've got your two little pine cones. Now let me share with you how to make the branch to go with it. For the smaller pieces, you're going to need 4 centimetre wide or 1.5 inches by approximately 10 centimetres or a little over 4 inches. So for the long one, you're going to need a 4 or 1.5 inch by 20 centimetre, which is a bit over 8 inches. It's not, the length is not that important because you can always trim it when you get to the end of where you've finished wrapping it. And then you're going to need a sort of a mid-size kebab skewer to stick them to. So take your fringe scissors and trim all the way along, leaving a gap at the top of about 1/4 inch or 1/2 centimetre. I did forget to mention that this is Mossy Meadow card, and then you're going to need some thin double-sided tape. This is some red line tape, but you can use tear and tape, which is available from Stampin' Up too. Pop that right the way along your strip. Take off the backing and then start wrapping from the top. And there you've got your pine branch. Now I took my Mossy Meadow marker and just coloured in the little bit of wood at the top there so that you couldn't see that. You don't have to. Now to make the smaller ones, I wrapped around until we got to the 10cm point. We ran out of card, and then I got a really old pair of scissors and cut the stick to the length that I wanted it. So it's pretty simple to do that. I've left these a bit longer so that I can put them in something. And then all I did was add a little bit of Tombow to the bottom and popped my pine cone onto the stem. Now it does take a little bit of drying, and so you've either got to sit and hold it for a little bit, or you need to put something that's going to hold it for you whilst you do your washing up or whatever. So it's up to you. It didn't take that long, so I just held mine yesterday when I was doing this extra sample. So there you have how you can make a pine cone using the rolled flower die. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and don't forget, as we're on week 11 now, there's 10 other videos for the 12 weeks of Christmas series, and just one final video next week. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and thanks for watching.